The little ladybug shivered in the cold. "My feet feel like ice blocks," said the ant. All the insect friends were walking in a long line to find food. It was winter and the mornings were freezing. "Look at those dark clouds," said the grasshopper. "Rain is coming." They had just found some food when the rain began. Plop, plop, plop. "Quick, into this cave!" shouted the beetle. The insects rushed inside. The rain poured for hours and wouldn't stop. Finally, the beetle peeked out. "Hooray! The rain is gone." But when they got home, everything was gone. "Our houses!" cried the ant. The ground was flat. Their sand homes had been washed away. The snail sniffed. Bee flew in. "The damn wall broke," said Bee. "That's why our homes disappeared." Luckily, no one was inside when the rain came, said the spider. "But where will we live now?" asked the snail. "The butterfly went to look for new homes," said the worm. Just then, the ant shouted, "Look, it's the butterfly!" She fluttered down and smiled. "I found mushroom homes on the hill, enough for everyone." "Hooray!" jeered the insects. They line up and follow the butterfly through the forest. Just before dark, they reach their new homes. Warm, cozy mushroom houses. "These won't wash away," said the ladybug. That night, the little bugs snuggled in and slept safely while soft rain fell outside. Stripey, the little wonder worm. Once upon a time, in a big, beautiful forest, there lived a little worm named Stripey. He did not look like the other worms. All the other worms were green, but Stripey had stripes from head to tail. The other worms didn't like his stripes. "You look funny," they said. "Go away, Stripey." They didn't want to play with him. Stripey felt very sad. He wanted to look the same as the others. He thought, maybe if I was green like them, they would like me. The forest was full of tall trees and big green leaves. The sun only shone for a few hours every day. When the sun went away, the forest got very dark. The animals could not see, and many went to sleep hungry. One sunny day, Stripey climbed up the tallest tree to look for a sweet leaf to eat. As he climbed higher and higher, he felt something warm on his body. "What is this?" he thought. It was the sun. He had never felt the sun before. It felt nice and made him smile. He stayed in the tree all day, feeling the sun on his stripes. Later, when it got dark, he came back down. Something amazing happened. As Stripey moved on the ground, his stripes started to glow. A bright path of light followed him through the forest. All the animals stopped and looked. "Wow," said a bunny. "Look at Stripey," said a frog. His stripes made the forest light up. Even the other worms were surprised. They had never seen anything so beautiful. "We're sorry, Stripey," they said. "We didn't know your stripes were so special." From that day on, Stripey was not alone anymore. The worms played with him, and the animals followed his light path at night. Every morning, Stripey went back to the top of the tree to warm up in the sun. At night, his stripes glowed, and he made safe light paths for everyone. Now, the forest was not dark anymore. The animals could walk safely and find food. Stripey felt happy. He had found something special he could do, and he learned something very important. Being different can be wonderful. Rabbit and Bear's Picnic. Rabbit and Bear packed a big picnic basket full of delicious food for a fun day at the river with their friends. They have been looking forward to it all week. They were going to swim, play, and of course, eat lots of tasty treats. After a while of running around and swimming, Bear said, "I'm so hungry." Bear and Rabbit found a nice, shady spot under a big apple tree to sit down. Inside the basket were sandwiches, juice, cookies, and even ice cream. I'm so hungry," said Rabbit. But just as they sat down, flop, something hit Bear right on the head. "Ouch! What was that?" Bear asked. He turned around and saw a big red apple had fallen from the tree. They looked up and saw more shiny red apples hanging above them. Rabbit licked his lips. Yum! Bear took a big bite of the apple. This is so yummy. But then, oh no, he saw something moving in the apple. He got such a fright that the apple rolled out of his hand. "What's wrong?" asked Rabbit. "Something moved inside the apple," said Bear. Rabbit picked up the apple and peeked inside. Then he started laughing and laughing. "It's just a little worm. Hello, wormy." The worm gave Bear a very grumpy look and said, "That's my apple. Thank you very much." Rabbit gently placed the apple back under the tree, and they all had a good giggle. Then, flop, another apple fell, this time next to Rabbit. It was even redder and bigger than the first one. Rabbit took a big crunchy bite. Crunch! But oh no, there was a worm in this apple too. "Oh no," said Rabbit. "I really wanted to eat that apple." And the little worm scolded Rabbit too. "I think we should leave the apples for the worms," said Bear. "Let's eat our picnic food instead." But when Rabbit opened the picnic basket and reached for his sandwich, there was no food left, just lots of empty wrappers. When Rabbit picked up the wrappers, he saw a bunch of little worms wiggling around. "Oh no, wormies, where's all our food?" Rabbit cried. The worms looked very full. They had eaten everything. Just then, Raccoon and Fox arrived and asked if they could sit with Bear and Rabbit under the apple tree. When they heard the worms had eaten all the picnic food, Raccoon smiled and said, "Don't worry, we bought lots of food and juicy apples too." So the four friends shared their picnic happily, and when their tummies were full, there was still plenty left for all the hungry little worms. Benny the friendly little bear. Benny lived in a big forest. Benny loved to play with his friends. He liked to explore the forest. Every day felt like a fun adventure. One day a big storm came. It rained a lot and made everything wet and muddy. After the storm, Benny was full of mud and all wet. But Benny didn't mind. He thought the mud was fun. The sun came out again. It was a perfect day to go for a swim. Benny went to look for his friends. He saw Rabbit, Squirrel, and Owl. They were talking and laughing together. Benny was so happy to see them and wanted to swim with them. But when his friends saw him, they got a big fright. They shouted, "A monster! A monster!" Then they ran away. Benny felt very confused. He didn't know why they were scared. Was it the mud? Did he look scary? He called out, "Wait, it's me, Benny." His friends stopped. Then they looked again and started to laugh. "Oh, it's just Benny," said Rabbit. "Wow, you look so funny with all that mud." They all went to the river and jumped into the water. They swam, laughed, and had a wonderful day at the river. The clever little fishy who saved the garden. In a big, sunny garden, many little animals lived together. There were snails who munched on tasty leaves, birds who sang pretty songs, and frogs who went ribbit, ribbit all day long. In the middle of the garden was a big splashy pond, and in that pond lived a shiny little fish named Flipper. Flipper had the most beautiful tail and loved all his garden friends very much. But one day something bad happened. The green grass started turning brown. The flowers stopped blooming. The bees had no flowers to visit, and the butterflies had nowhere to play. "Oh no," said Flipper. "My friends are sad." Flipper wanted to help, so he made a plan. He jumped out of the water and did the silliest, splashiest dance you'd ever seen. Swish, flip, splash. The insects giggled. The birds cheered. The frogs clapped. Everyone loved Flipper's funny dance. Then something amazing happened. The flowers near the pond started to grow. The grass turned green again. They saw that Flipper's splashes were watering the plants. Flipper called all his friends together. "I have an idea," he said. "Let's work as a team." The birds brought tiny sticks. The bugs made little buckets from big leaves. Every day they filled their buckets with water from the pond. Flipper kept splashing too. Together they watered the garden, and slowly the garden came back to life. New flowers grew. Trees got their leaves back. Even animals from other dry gardens came to visit. Flipper shared his idea with everyone, and soon other ponds in other gardens did the same. Thanks to Flipper's clever thinking and everyone's hard work, the garden was green and happy again. Flipper was so proud, and all his friends smiled and danced around the pond. The little rabbit and the loud, fire truck. Little Rabbit and Daddy were at the shop and were on their way home. Little Rabbit was carrying a big bag full of fruit. He walked on the sidewalk and had to cross the road. He looked to the left and he looked to the right. His mommy always says, "You must look left twice and right twice before you cross at the pedestrian crossing." Ew, ew! Suddenly, Little Rabbit heard a loud noise. What is that sound? He wondered, and it got louder and louder. But he couldn't see anything. Little Rabbit and Daddy started walking across the pedestrian crossing. They had just stepped onto the other sidewalk when, whoosh! A big red fire truck sped past them with a long ladder and a big rolled-up hose. The siren was so loud that Little Rabbit grabbed his ears. The bag full of fruit fell to the ground. Apples and pears rolled everywhere. Little Rabbit sat down on the sidewalk. "Are you okay?" Daddy asked. They live just down the road, and Little Rabbit and Daddy always do shopping together. On the way to the shop, there's a big park where they always stop to play. There's a slide, a swing, and lots of funny things to climb on. Sometimes Milo, their little dog, comes along when they go out for a quick ice cream. Luckily, Milo didn't come along today. His poor ears would never have survived that loud siren. "Are you okay?" Daddy asked again. Little Rabbit still had his hands over his ears. "I think so," Little Rabbit said. "My ears just hurt a little." Rabbit looked up at Daddy. "What was that? And why was it so loud?" "That was a fire truck," Daddy said. "Uncle Hippo, my best friend, is a fireman." "But what do firemen do?" Rabbit asked. "If a fire breaks out, they drive the big red fire truck to the fire and put it out," Daddy explained. "There are lots of firemen working together. They spray water from the big hose. Remember last week," Daddy continued, "when the big open field next to your school caught fire?" "Yes, I remember," said Rabbit. "When we looked out the window, it was all smoke. The whole sky was full of grey clouds, and it was hard to breathe. Teachers closed all the windows. All the kids had to leave the school until the fire was gone." "A fireman's job is to put out fires," said Daddy. "So when the firemen hear about a big fire, they had to rush and drive very fast, so the fire doesn't spread. That's why the fire truck sped past us. They had to go put a fire out quickly." Inside the big fire truck is a huge water tank full of water. The big hose is connected to the tank. Then they spray the water onto the fire until the fire is out. Daddy helped Little Rabbit pick up all the fruit that had fallen from his bag. "You know what?" Daddy said. "I think tomorrow we should visit Uncle Hippo at the fire station. Then he can show you what the inside of a fire truck looks like." "Yes, yes, yes! That's a great idea!" Little Rabbit shouted. Tilly the Little Mouse. Tilly lived in a big farmhouse. She was always scared of cats because she heard cats catch mice. Tilly's house was in a small hole in the wooden floor. It was behind a big bookshelf in the living room. No one could see it. One day, Tilly was looking for food in the house. She saw a small, cute kitten playing on the rug. The kitten was playing with a soft ball. Tilly quickly hid under the sofa. Under the sofa. She looked at the kitten and thought, maybe not all cats want to catch mice. Then the ball rolled under the sofa right next to Tilly. Tilly wanted to run, but the kitten saw her. Tilly was so scared. She couldn't move. "Can you help me get my ball?" "My name is Fluffy," said the kitten with a smile. Tilly was shocked. You don't want to catch me?" she asked. "No, I don't want to catch you. I just want to play," said Fluffy. "The ball keeps going under the sofa, and I can't reach it. But you are small. You can help me." Tilly was still a little bit scared. What if it's a trick? She thought. But then she felt brave. She pushed the ball to Fluffy. Fluffy smiled. "Thank you. Do you want to play with me?" Tilly nodded. She came out from under the sofa. She was happy to have a new friend. From that day, Tilly and Fluffy played every day. They played hide and seek, and they loved playing in the garden. At night, Tilly even slept in Fluffy's warm basket. They were best friends. They did everything together. One morning, Fluffy woke up. Tilly was gone. Fluffy looked in the house. She looked in the garden, but Tilly was not there. Fluffy was very worried. Then she thought maybe Tilly went to the barn. The barn was big and dark. Fluffy ran inside and heard a soft voice. "Help me! Help me!" It was Tilly. She was caught in a mousetrap. "Oh no," cried Fluffy. "I've been looking for you all day." Fluffy was now bigger. She took a stick and pushed the trap open. Tilly pulled out her little foot. "Thank you, Fluffy," she said, and gave her a big hug. Her foot was sore, but after a few days she was okay again. Tilly never went to the big barn again. There might be more mousetraps. She was very happy to have a friend like Fluffy, a friend who never gave up. And from that day on, they stayed best friends forever. Once upon a time, in a magical forest, far away, there lived a tooth fairy with all her fairy friends. She was responsible for collecting the children's teeth and leaving them with a special gift. Every year, the tooth fairy would write a letter to all the kids in the town nearby, reminding them to take care of their little teeth by brushing them twice daily, once in the morning and once at night before bedtime. The children in the town were always excited to receive the tooth fairy's letter on their pillow. They knew that taking care of their teeth will not only keep them healthy, but they would also receive a gift for every white tooth. The tooth fairy would use the teeth to make beautiful fairy houses, which were every fairy's dream to receive. However, the list was long, and every year the tooth fairy could only make 2 houses. Willow, one of the fairies, was 7th on the list and was eagerly waiting for her turn. As winter approaches, all the fairy houses made of grass and sand would get washed away when it rained heavily. They would then have to build new houses all over again. Willow had the idea. What if all the fairies help the tooth fairy to collect the children's teeth at night, and also help her build the houses? The fairies were so excited, and the tooth fairy was delighted to have their help in collecting the teeth. Every night, all the fairies went to the children's houses to look for white teeth. They left a special gift for every white tooth. They collected as many teeth as they could. This year, they all worked hard together, and all the fairies had beautiful white houses. That winter, all the fairies slept comfortably and warmly while it was raining outside, knowing they had worked together to create something beautiful. The following day, the children woke up to find the tooth fairy had visited them and left them a special gift for their white tooth. They were amazed to see how many fairy houses the fairies built with their teeth. They knew they had done something special by caring for their teeth, which helped them stay healthy, but also helped the fairies have a beautiful place to live. Willow was overjoyed to see her fairy house made with the teeth she had collected. It was the most beautiful house she had ever seen, and she felt proud to have been a part of creating it. The tooth fairy was grateful for all the fairies' help and knew she could not have done it without them. From that day on, every year, the fairies worked together to collect the teeth and build the houses, making the tooth fairies' job a little easier and a lot more fun. Noah's Fire Truck Adventure. Max let out a big bark and whimpered softly near the large sand pile in the park. Max is Noah's little dog. Noah played happily at the park with his moms. They kicked the ball around and enjoyed a nice picnic under the big tree. Max barked again, his tail wagging wildly. Noah and his moms rushed to where Max was. There was a very big sand heap next to the park. Max had started digging, and now Noah joined in too. "What's this?" asked Noah. The next moment, they heard something that sounded like a fire truck. "Wee, wee!" And they dug deeper. The sound of the fire truck grew louder and louder. "Wow!" said Noah, his mouth hanging open in excitement. Then Noah spotted a wheel. He picked it up and set it aside. "That's a big wheel." As they continued to dig, they uncovered more parts of the fire truck. "Oh no," said Noah's mom. "It looks broken." The sound of the fire truck has suddenly stopped. "That's strange," said Noah. "Why isn't it working?" Max barked again and held a screw in his mouth, helping to search for all the loose parts of the fire truck too. After a few hours of digging and searching for parts, they couldn't find anything else. The fire truck was as big as Noah, who was already 2 years old. "Let's go home," said his mommy, "and then we can see if we can clean the fire truck and get it working again." "Yes, yes," shouted Noah, very excited. At home, they cleaned the fire truck nicely. It was covered in mud and sand. "I think the truck has been through a lot of adventures," said Mommy. "Thank you, Max," said Noah as he patted his head. Max lay on the ground where they were cleaning it. After some tightening and screwing, the fire truck was ready again. And so the day quickly came to an end. When it was bedtime, of course the truck had to sleep with Noah in his bed. Noah held the truck and covered it with a blanket. The next morning, Noah woke up from a movement under his hand. "No, Max," he said, "I want to sleep." But it wasn't Max. It was his fire truck moving. "Hello," said the fire truck to Noah. Noah sat up straight in bed. "Hello," said Noah. "Yippee!" shouted Noah. His moms came into the room and saw the truck working again. Noah was so happy, and he played happily with his new truck buddy for the rest of the day. The Adventure of the Little Duckling. Once upon a time, not too far away, there was a farm where a cheerful little duckling lived, among a group of animal friends. This little duckling didn't always have so many friends. When he was just a tiny duck, he lived in a cold, lonely forest with his mom, dad, and siblings. They had to walk far every day to find food, and the forest was full of dangers like snakes, scorpions, and eagles. Every night they needed to find a new, safe place to sleep. One sunny day, after days without finding water, something shiny caught the little duckling's eye. It was far away, but sparkled under the sun. Excited, he ran as fast as his little legs would allow, eager to find out what it was. As he got closer, he realized It was a ball. A ball? Out here in the forest? But there's no one else around. Just then, there was movement in the bush, and he heard a voice. "Oh, where did my ball go?" "Hello," the little duckling called curiously. Out from behind the bush popped a friendly bunny. "Hello there," the bunny greeted. "Did you see a ball around here?" Is this the ball you're looking for?" asked the duckling, pointing to the shiny object. "Yes, that's it. My friends and I were playing and accidentally kicked it over the fence. Would you like to come and play with us?" The duckling was intrigued. "Other friends? I'd love to meet them, but I should ask my mom and dad first." "Sure, they can join us too," the bunny suggested cheerfully. "And where do you live?" We don't have a home. We wandered around looking for food and water," the duckling replied sadly. The bunny's eyes widened. "That sounds really tough. Why don't you come and live with us on the farm? There's lots of food and water and a cozy house where it's safe to sleep at night." "Really? Mom, Dad!" the duckling shouted excitedly, running to tell his parents about his new friend and the farm. "That sounds wonderful," his parents agreed, thrilled at the thought of a safe and comfortable home. Together with the bunny, the duckling and his family headed to the farm. They couldn't believe their eyes when they saw a sparkling pond and a welcoming community of animals playing happily. There was plenty of food, and the duckling quickly made many new friends. That night, they all slept peacefully in their new, safe home. The little duckling felt so grateful for the yummy food, clean water, and a safe place to sleep. Most of all, he loved having so many friends to play with every single day. And from that day on, the little duckling enjoyed every adventure with his wonderful new friends on the farm.